start down and we'll do the supervisor matter the same way we have.
Hey, Gene, this thing works amazing. I'm still burning shit out of my mouth every day. What's that? Yeah, well,
Waiting for that magic moment.
I'm looking at that satellite time, and I'm like, Phil's running late.
Good morning. Welcome to the March 4th Board of Supervisors meeting. If you would please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Supervisor Ishida, and remain standing for a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll begin our day with Board of Supervisor matters. We'll start with Supervisor Ennis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was out driving the East Porterville area yesterday, and I want to thank Dennis Lehman. In fact, I called him on the phone, but we're continuing to clean up that area out there of houses that are abandoned, squatters in them, debris 2 or 3 feet deep on the lot. I went by there yesterday, and all I could see was a gas meter. Pretty sandy loam all across that lot. So thank you guys for continuing to clean that up and make it nicer for your neighbors out there in that area. This weekend we're going to have the big collegiate stock show in Porterville at the fairgrounds on Friday and Saturday. That'll be college students coming from all over the state of California to Porterville for their college show. So that used to be known as the Great Western, and it pretty well died out, but we revived it at the Porterville Fairgrounds. So look forward to that show this weekend. We're going to have our big retreat this Friday up in Three Rivers, so kind of looking forward to that with all the department heads and everybody and seeing what everybody has in mind for Tulare County for this upcoming year. Saturday night I'll be out at the Zonta Club having their big fundraiser at Knuckles Ranch. And I also want to bring light to one of the items that's on consent on our Indian Gaming Local Benefit Committee. Johnny Wong, I told him this a couple of years ago when we got to the meeting, and that nobody had enough money for the grants. And I told Johnny, I said, Johnny, every year let's just figure how much money we got. And this year we got about $265,000. Apply for all of it. So if somebody doesn't get it, we'll get it and get those roads fixed. This is for Reservation Road, which goes to the casino. So thank you, Johnny, for putting that on the consent calendar. And that's all I have. Thank you.
So I hate to correct you in public, but if you show up to St. Anthony's retreat this Friday, you will be the only one there.
Well, I'm always been proactive, trying to be ahead of my schedule. I get a little bit too much schedule.
I've got to say one thing about Supervisor Ennis. If he is anything, he is early. And you will be very early.
Thank you.
Supervisor Ishida.
Last week, Allison Pearson and I met with the Lindsay Superintendent of Schools, and we discussed the Step Up program, and I believe they're seriously considering or have agreed to do Saturday Night Live in Lindsay. This Saturday, I attended the Exeter Knights of Columbus award ceremony for our law enforcement officers and firefighters. And last night, I attended the Three Rivers Town Hall meeting. And that's all I have.
Supervisor Worthley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last Wednesday, we had a solar project ribbon cutting ceremony in Kingsburg for Amodo, which is a Spanish company that's building these different solar farms around the county. This is about a 20-acre project just outside the city limits of Kingsburg. I thought a little bit about Al Gore. Here was a solar project, and it was pouring down rain as we were having the ribbon cutting ceremony. But a great project and providing a needed power source in an area that's somewhat difficult to sustain. Also last week on Thursday, Alan Ashita and I met with Genesee, Wyoming, the people who purchased the short line rails in Tulare County, and had a very exciting meeting with them. In Kern County, the oil industry is going through a rejuvenation. They are going to be spending $24 million rebuilding the line in the southern part of the valley. And Genesee, Wyoming, the owner of the company, is looking to hopefully leverage that effort with a project here in Tulare County. Nothing is absolutely certain. We're going to be looking at applying for a Tiger grant from the federal government. They are willing to put up the match. They were talking in the neighborhood of $4 to $8 million potentially. And their goal, if they were successful, would be to rebuild the line all the way from Goshen back through to Exeter and then up through Dinuba into Fresno County. So that would be a major improvement. One of the things that was very exciting for Al and I to hear was that they referred to this line in the San Joaquin Valley, which we came this close to having totally destroyed by their predecessor owner. They look at this line as their premier line, or they look at this as a real opportunity in the entire country. And this is a very large company. They have short lines all over the United States, and they look at this as being a wonderful opportunity. So it's very exciting for us, as we've worked as a Board of Supervisors very hard to try to preserve these lines and not have them destroyed. So it was a great meeting, and we hope that it moves forward successfully. And that's all I have today. Thanks.
Supervisor Vanderpool.
All right, I'm going to try to remember everything that I had on my iPad off the top of my head, because there was a software update and I clicked yes, so it shut down on me. But go IT. Just kidding. Just kidding. What I was going to go over today is this Thursday at 4 o'clock, there's a ribbon cutting for the first high school bigs program in Tulare, and I serve on the Central California Big Brothers and Big Sisters governing board, and they're having a ribbon cutting event on Thursday at 4 at Wilson Elementary School, and this is a program that features high school mentors for younger youth in the elementary school program. And it matches them, and it's an after-school program that lasts a year long and gives these kids an opportunity to do different projects and things and have a mentor in their life and really create a relationship that will hopefully last a lifetime. So really excited to see that in Tulare. I know that they already have that program going on in Orosi, and it's very successful there as well. And then lastly, on Sunday of this week at 1 o'clock at the Visalia Bowling Alley, there's going to be an event put on by the Big Brothers and Big Sisters called Bowl for Kids' Sake. If anyone is interested in bowling to help raise money for Big Brothers and Big Sisters, I would invite you to contact their office. Their office is located in Fresno, and all the contact information's in my iPad, and it's still not quite up yet. So, but I hope they get a great turnout and raise lots of funds. So, thank you very much. That's all I have.
Thank you. For myself, last week we did have our kickoff meeting for the Summer Night Lights program. We had several groups there. If you remember the first year we started this 4 years ago, we had 3 participants in that program. This year we have 13, and they are Alpha and Allensworth working together, Cutler Orosi working together, Dinuba, Porterville, Rich Grove, Tulare, Visalia, Woodlake. The new programs, the new areas looking are Early Mart, Exeter, Ivanhoe, Lindsay, and Ducor. So the program is proving to be very successful. We have several partners wanting to participate in that, so we're excited about the growth we've experienced there over the last 4 years. This last Saturday, I had the opportunity to speak to 200 young farmer and ranchers in the leadership group from throughout the state of California. It was a great group, met over at the Marriott. for a conference for a few days, and it was nice to see the enthusiasm in those young folks that are working in farming and ranching in our community as well as throughout the state. This Friday, I'm going to participate in a tour of our animal shelter, where we'll be looking at the conditions there, and then also looking at the stored emergency materials we purchased with OES funds here a few years ago. So that's what I have going on last week and this week. We'd like to turn some time over to Supervisor Worthley for a proud moment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Why don't I have the Dynamis football team find their way up here, and you're going to really cram in here right in front of the dais, and we want to get a photograph of all of you guys. I understand from the coach there's only 3 members of this Valley Championship team who are not here today, so it's a wonderful showing.
I think you're going to have to keep coming.
Supervisor Worthley, I can see why Dinuba won. They have so many members of the team. They wore the opponents out.
And that is part of the strategy. Coach Sharton is here today, and while the guys are making their way in here, I just wanted to say that it's a great day when you have a sea of green out there of Go Emperors, you know. Tonight, the Emperor basketball team will be playing in the semifinals for a Valley Championship of basketball, and just recently, the Dinuba Emperor wrestling team took the Valley Championship, so we'll be having an opportunity to honor them as well. Well, they're getting close in here, aren't they? I'm feeling a little bit crowded. They've got my back, I'm sure.
That's what I'd be worried about.
This is a team of unbelievable talent, and I've been engaged with Dinuba football pretty steadily since my oldest son, who's now 31, almost 32, played at Dinuba High School, and then I had one other son play. He's now 23, and I have one that plays at Cal Lutheran now, who played for his years also at Dinuba High School. Coach Sharton has been at the Dinuba school district for some time now. I think he's only had 1 year where he didn't have a winning team. This is his second Valley Championship. Going into the semifinals on the football Valley Championship, there were 3 members, I believe, or if not 4, of the board members whose alma maters were in the running. As it turned out, only one of us finished. Now, Mike Guinness will tell you that the reason that Dinuba had such an easy time of winning the championship was because they beat up their opponent so badly the week before. But let me read this proclamation to you, please, if I may. This is County Tulare honoring the Dinuba High football team as the 2013-14 Central Section Division III Valley Champions. Whereas Division III of the California Interscholastic Federation's Central Section is comprised of high school football teams covering Fresno, Madera, Kings, Kern, and Tulare counties. And whereas on December 6, 2013, the Dinuba High School football team beat Ridgeview High School 55-14. I think that's in number 2, District 2 of Tulare County, in the Central Section Division III championship game at Dinuba High. Whereas it was just last season that Dinuba suffered a loss at the hands of Ridgeview Wolfpack for the Division III title, but on Friday night, the Emperors were glad to have the opportunity for a comeback after last year's defeat. And whereas, according to Coach Kevin Sharton, the kids played the game of their lives, they worked hard all season to get to the championship game, and the end result was an amazing feeling and a proud moment for all the players. And whereas the Dinuba High School student body, staff, coaches, and community are extremely proud of the way the Dinuba Emperor football team have represented Dinuba by winning the Valley Championship and finishing the regular season 10-3-0. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Tulare County Board of Supervisors does hereby honor the Dinuba High School football team for winning the 2013-14 Central Section Division III Valley Championship, dated this date March 4th, and signed by Alan Ishida, Pete Vanderpool, Phil Cox, our chairman, Steve Worthley, and Mike Guinness. Congratulations, Coach.
First of all, I love these guys. Win or lose, they always knew that. But these guys, football in Dinuba, it's a year-round thing, And a lot of these young men are 2 and 3 sport athletes. We got a few of these guys that will be wrestling for a state title in wrestling come Friday and Saturday. I want to say almost the whole varsity basketball team or football. Raise your hand if you're going to play tonight, for the semifinals in basketball. And then some of these guys will move on to track and baseball. So it's not like these guys just dedicate themselves to one thing, but we know these guys are working hard all year in the weight room because they know it benefits them in all the sports that they do. And we all love each other. We work hard together. And this is the result right here. So thank you very much for having us. Right.
Supervisor Worthy, you might want to have these guys that are like 6'5", 6'6", coming to the back row.
I know, that's how it always works for me, too. Maybe they'll pick you up on their shoulders.
Your arm.
Hold it up high.
No, we don't want her in a chair.
Really, you have to get on a chair.
One more.
Bless you.
All right. Thanks, guys. Good luck tonight.
Temperature up here just dropped 10 degrees with all that body heat.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
I just wish that we would have had 2 healthy teams play each other again at the end of the season. That would have worked. But I think these guys got beat up too, but we got beat up real bad. I mean, and of course Ridgeview, 2 of their guys went to the hospital that night in an ambulance. So, I mean, that was a tough game we played with Ridgeview. So it did help. It did help soften them up. And you could see by that score, but I'll guarantee you, if Dinuba and Portland would have played again, it'd been a tough game. So,
Hey, we have to
I
give
have to commend Dinuba. They did a great job.
fair time, I guess, to Supervisor Vanderpool over here, whose team also got.
Well, I was just kind of curious. I wasn't so concerned about my team. I know that all Tulare high schools, all 3 of the high schools are outstanding athletes, and sometimes they win, sometimes they lose, but they're all outstanding, so I'm proud of them either way. What I was curious about is, what year did you play football in, Mr. Ennis?
I played, we were 1962 Central Yosemite League champions, playing both the Visalia schools, Tulare, Delano, and Hanford. So we had a tough schedule.
That's great. Good job.
Well, I was hoping the team was going to stick around because I have the great opportunity now to introduce a team that I think could whip them all. And they're led by Juliet Webb.
Hi, good morning. Thank you, Chairman Cox, members of the board, Mr. Russo, Ms. Bales-Lang. I am delighted to be here today to talk to you about social workers and to honor the profession of social work. Interestingly enough, with the Dinuba High School, we have a 15-year social worker who is the mother of the quarterback of the Dinuba Emperors. Yay. Okay, so I did that little tie-in. I want to focus, I want to talk to you today about National Social Work Month. Social Work Month is March of every year, and it is a time for us to spotlight the wonderful work that social workers do in the lives of vulnerable children and families. And in Tulare County, there are over 200 social workers in the Health and Human Services Agency who are making a difference in our county's most vulnerable youth and families' lives every day. I am very happy to be joined today by 8 of these wonderful and talented individuals who represent
the team captains.
the team captains, yes, who represent their compatriots back who are in the field out there today working with our children and families. I want to go through who these individuals are and what it is that they do, so you can get an idea of just the gamut of services that are provided to our vulnerable populations. First, we have Sandy Kokumcam. She works with our adults who need in-home supportive services. She conducts assessments and works to ensure that these individuals get the supports and services that they are qualified to receive so that they can remain in their homes. Another social worker in the senior programs, Lydia Webster. She works in the multi-purpose senior services program. She works with some of our most frail seniors, conducting home visits to ensure health care and safety needs are attended to also minimize out-of-home placements for these individuals. Janet Robinson is a child welfare services social worker who investigates child abuse reports and works to ensure that families in dire crisis receive the services and the oversight that they need and are entitled to. Sherlyn Porter and Larry Willett are licensed clinical social workers working in our mental health department. These therapists utilize a variety of evidence-based treatments every day in helping our county's children and adults suffering with mental illness. In addition, Gail Nelson is also a clinical social worker who works with older adults and their caregivers dealing with depression and grief. Armida Quezada provides individual counseling to Medicare beneficiaries and their caregivers and makes presentations often to community groups on Medicare rules and programs. And lastly, but not least, did I get everybody else? Yes. Betty Scruggs is an adult protective social services worker whose job involves investigating allegations of elder abuse and working to assist our adult victims get the services and supports they need. So as you can see, the contributions of social workers are widely varied, but no matter what service they do and what they provide, this month is about honoring that service and about saying thank you for all that social workers do in Tulare County.
I told you I think my team could whip their team. Juliet, come on up too. Well, it gives me great pleasure to proclaim March 2014 the Social Work Month in Tulare County. I'll call these our team captains. You know, we know what they do. We know how hard they work. We know how difficult some of the situations are that they have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And that's a job I would not be able to do. And I personally appreciate you for the work that you do and the homes that you go into and for the things that you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. I'm going to read the last resolve. Therefore, be it resolved that Tulare County Board of Supervisors do hereby proclaim the month of March as Social Work Month in Tulare County and call upon the citizens and public, private institutions, businesses, and schools in Tulare County to show their appreciation for the tremendous contributions of social workers that make the county a better place for all of its residents. Signed, Alan Ashita, Pete Vanderpool, Phil Cox, Steve Worley, and Mike Ennis. Thank you very much. We will now go to item number 4, which is public comments.
Excuse me,
Anybody
Mr.
wishing to address
Chairman.
this board on a,
That was an action item.
forget what I said? This is an action item.
Move for approval.
Moved by Ennis,
I'll second that.
second by Vanderpool. Please cast your vote. It's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, we'll now move to our public comment period. Anybody wishing to address this board on a item that is not on our agenda today but under purview, please step forward, state your name and address for the record. You can use either one, Craig.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman Cox and Board of Supervisors and staff. So my name is Craig Vavida. I serve on the Tulare City Council, also Vice Chair of the Tulare County Economic Development Corporation. I spoke to you last week, as you recall. So I'm here on behalf of our Board of Directors, our entire Board of Directors. And while we anticipated, and you put us on warning, that the county was not going to be being a full partner with the EDC this coming year, I got to tell you, there were some comments made by the Board of Supervisors which tells me there must be a lot of misinformation out there because we heard things that simply aren't factual. And we feel as a board responsible to communicate that the EDC actually has been doing a very, very good job. It's been doing its job for 31 years now, and we will continue to do our job. We had a board meeting, a regular scheduled board meeting last Wednesday, and the board members that were there were unanimous in saying we will continue our mission, we will continue to go forward, we will continue to create jobs in Tulare County. We have crafted a written response that will be distributed to the media today, and I will share it with you if you want. It takes 2.5 minutes to read it, or I can just leave it with you and you can read it for yourself.
If you would like to read it, Craig, feel free to read it.
I think I can say with confidence there's some things in here you probably don't want to hear, but we think it's information that needs to be delivered. And also I want to just share that I delivered a little bit of bad information last week when I suggested that if you're to be a full participant, full partner going forward, that your contribution might be somewhat reduced. It is fact that the city managers have been working on a new funding formula, and your CAO, I think, has been part of those conversations for several months. But the end of all that, depending on which formula is used, Tulare County would still probably be the second highest contributor if you were a full partner. Visalia, by far and away, is the largest contributor. And then number 2, 3, and 4 would be the county, the city of Tulare, and the city of Porterville, and that would probably stay the same. Numbers would change a little bit. That's probably what it would look like. So with that, this is our response that we will deliver to the media. And again, I'm here out of respect for you. I consider you friends, and I want you to hear what we're thinking. And hopefully, through the end of all this, it would be my hope that we can all be in the same boat, row in the same direction. I just think we're more effective that way, and that's just my belief. The Tulare County Board of Supervisors recently decided to pull its funding to the Tulare County Economic Development Corporation. The vote was 4-1, with Supervisor Pete Vanderpool the lone vote against this move. Comments made by the other 4 supervisors called into question the performance of the Board of Directors of the EDC and its staff. The entire executive board of the EDC, along with the vast majority of our 16 other board members, completely disagree with the county supervisor's assessment of the EDC. We are very disappointed they have chosen to pull funding from the only organization in Tulare County that has been creating new jobs for our residents for the last 31 years. We're also disappointed by numerous misstatements of fact made by 4 of the county supervisors. The EDC board was criticized for its work plan and its performance related to that work plan by the county supervisors, who've been a part of the development, implementation, and review of the performance of EDC since its creation in 1983. All the current county supervisors have either served as a voting member or alternate member of the EDC Board of Directors and have been part of every decision they have criticized over the years. In response to the supervisors' actions, the EDC Board of Directors has done some serious self-reflection. We are pleased to report that the elected officials and private company representatives that serve on the board remain committed to its role in creating jobs here in Tulare County. The EDC is a primary marketing and business recruitment organization for the cities and communities of Tulare County. The EDC has consistently produced results in new jobs, new companies, and new revenues to local jurisdictions for 31 years. Over the last 10 years, the EDC has played a role in the creation of approximately 2,400 new jobs in Tulare County. These jobs have also resulted in $619 million of new construction. Decisions by the Board of Supervisors do not appear to be about value or performance. 2 recent studies by the Southern California Edison Company indicate the county has been getting a 2-to-1 ratio return on their investment in EDC. Their choice to redirect economic development further duplicates the efforts of the EDC while receiving a free lunch the EDC provides from its successes. County supervisors represent all residents of the county, not just those residing in unincorporated areas. They should recognize, as we do, that we all benefit from every job that is created regardless of the location. We applaud Supervisor Vanderpool for his desire to remain unified and work collaboratively in creating jobs for our residents. We can only hope that the other supervisors reconsider their choice to not support the nationally recognized successes of the Tulare County EDC. Let's work together as a county, cities, and private sector to further economic development and make Tulare County a better place to live for everyone. Helen Keller said, "Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much." The EDC Board of Directors remains committed to working together as public and private sectors to put our priority of jobs first for residents ahead of individual personality and politics. It's signed by the entire Board of Directors, and we also have our past chairs going back 10 years have also signed on to this letter. So I'll leave this with your staff. And thank you so much for your time and attention.
Thanks, Greg. Anybody else wishing to address the board at this time during public comment period? Seeing none, we will move to our consent calendar. Item number 12 is pulled off agenda. Are there any items the board members would like to hear separately from the consent calendar? Any members of the public wishing to pull a consent calendar item?
Chairman, if not, I would move approval of the consent calendar absent item 12.
Second.
Moved by Worthley, second by Ennis. Please cast your votes. It's unanimous. Thank you. We have one untimed item today, which is item number 16, a request from our Human Resource and Development to adopt a new classification title on job specification and another paragraph and a half of information. After I'm not going to read. Rhonda.
Good morning. I'm Rhonda Schustrom, Human Resources Director. The item before you is a request to make changes to 2 vacant positions currently allocated to the Human Resources Department. One is what was formerly called our County Training Officer, and I've updated the job specification and also asking for a retitle of the position. The other position is our Employee Relations Specialist, which we have had allocated to our department, which has not been filled for some time. And again, retitling that position and changing the job specification. In both instances, these job specifications have not been updated since, in one case, since 1998, and in another case in the mid-2000s. And since that time, there has been great changes in the county and within the Human Resources and Development Department. And so this would reflect the full scope of the duties and responsibilities of these positions. The third change would be reclassifying an existing position, an incumbent who is an administrative analyst, back to an employee relations specialist 2 level, which is more in keeping with the actual functions of the incumbent's position. During his tenure with our office, his position has changed slightly, and now he is performing more labor relations and grievance discipline processing. The changes today would also set forth a succession plan. We have a part-time human resource officer who we were fortunate to get after having a career in another county and has come to work for us. And it is my intention to create the employee relations specialist position one of the positions, to work with her in doing the allegations of harassment, discrimination, hostile work environment, and other investigations and special projects, and for her to be present and able to help mentor this individual as a succession plan, as she will be reducing eventually her hours at the county and will be retiring at some point in the future. So there are 5 action items on the request: adopting the new classification, title and job specification, and assigning it a salary grade which is no change from the current salary, deleting the current classification of the county training officer, adopting the new classification of the employee-employer relations specialist 1-2, and creating a grade of 7-7 and grade 414, deleting the former title, and reclassifying the administrative analyst to the new title of employee-employer relations specialist. All positions are currently funded and allocated in the HRD budget. There would be an annual cost increase of approximately $1,125.
Any questions?
No, I just got a comment. I think this is very necessary with as many employees as we have in Tulare County. These positions are very, very necessary to make sure everybody plays the game fairly, and that we don't have controversies within our different departments. So, great.
Thank you. The positions, in one case, our training officer is helping to train, empower our employees, and in the other instance, our relations specialists. At some point, we are redirecting behavior, correcting behavior, and in some cases, it includes termination of employees. But the idea is to try to redirect and to also offer corrective resources, and then also to take action when is necessary.
Any other questions?
No, but I would like to bring to light something else that was in the article here, the department's vision, which I think is pretty good. Your success is our reward. And then your department mission, helping people succeed because talent doesn't just happen. Great.
Thank you very much.
Typically, wouldn't we usually do things like this on a DAR? Is there a reason why this raised to the next level of bringing it to the board?
We wanted to bring this in because there were changes to these 2 positions, which are critical to the HRD organization, and we felt it was best to bring it in at this time before we go out and recruit, and we have the new job specifications and the full scope of duties.
Great.
Mr. Chairman, the state law requires that job descriptions and positions be adopted by your board. Allowing an increase in a level or whatever can be delegated, but you do actually have to adopt those. And that's one of the reasons I think that there are positions. You'll see some in mid-year. I beat Ms. Schuster. One of mine is 1996. So there's a lot of those out there.
And I'll just make a real quick comment. I think it's really great that you did bring it to the board, because I think it's important that our employees know, as well as the public knows, really the focus of our department, and that's developing our employees and helping them to move forward and better serve the public while feeling good about their job. So I think it's a great idea, and I'm really glad that you did bring it. And hopefully, even though we lost the whole crowd because they were all on the Dinuba football team, hopefully this message gets out there and people realize really what you're doing with the department. I think you're doing a great job, so thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Anybody from the audience wishing to address this item? Okay, seeing none, entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
I'll second that.
Moved by Ennis, second by Vanderpool. Cast your votes, and it's unanimous. Thank you for your attendance today. We do have closed session items. Madam Counsel.
We do, Mr. Chairman. We have items A through M on your board's closed session agenda. I do anticipate an announcement. There is no one that wishes to speak to any of the items.
Thank you very much. We will adjourn to closed session.
In the matter of announcement out of closed session today, Tuesday, March 4th, 2014, by Kathleen Bales Lang, County Council. In the matter of item A, Shaney Jenkins versus County of Tulare et al., Tulare County Superior Court case number 255169. The board voted to defend that action and to provide a defense of individually named employee defendants with a reservation of rights. And this was done on motion of Supervisor Worthley, seconded by Supervisor Ishida on a unanimous vote. In the matter of item B on the board's closed session agenda, these are initials, CBIA versus BAAQMD. For which I do not have a case number, but this is a matter now pending before the California Supreme Court. And in that matter, the board voted to provide amicus support for the lawsuit. The adverse parties would be the Bay Area Quality Management District. That's the acronym that I read earlier. Case involves a CEQA challenge, challenging the thresholds by Bay Area Quality Management District. This is a contingent authorization if CSAC, the California State Association of Counties, does not file an amicus brief in support of the public agency position. Then this office is authorized to author or join such a brief. This is on motion of Supervisor Worthley, seconded by Supervisor Ennis on a unanimous vote. And returning briefly to item A, I believe I forgot to say what the nature of the matter is. And this is a writ of mandate petition alleging wrongful termination and retaliation. Those are all the announcements I have.